the Women in Business podcast. Insights from top financial professionals. Strategies to grow your practice. The future is female. It all begins here.
Welcome to Gradient Women in Business, the show where we have real conversations to inspire, empower, and equip women in the financial service industry. I'm your host, Jaclyn, and today I'm joined by someone who I have admired for a long time, an incredible advisor, leader, and friend, Sandy Minardi. Sandy, thank you for being here.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Jaclyn. I just can't tell you how excited I am to be here. And this is one of my absolute favorite topics because it's something that I think we all do and we all do well. But when you really master it, your first meetings can transform those times with those clients into deep, lasting relationships.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And you chose this topic today. So
Yes, I
I'm
did.
extremely excited about it. And so we're diving into the art. And yes, it is an art, according to you, Sandy, of building rapport in that very first meeting with a new prospective client. So we'll talk about why following a process is essential, how to ask better questions, and how to guide clients to self discovery so they walk away thinking, wow, she really gets me.
Yeah. Okay, so you said an art. So I've just got to tell a story right here, right
Yes,
off the
let's do
bat, okay?
it.
So I was reading a book that I think a lot of people in Gradient are familiar with. It's 10x is easier than 2x.
Mhm.
And in the intro, there was this amazing story about Michelangelo. And I read it actually to my husband, and he thought it was kind of gross, part of it. But anyway, uh, I mean, we all know who Michelangelo is, right? He was truly an artist. He truly mastered the craft of
Mhm.
sculpting figures. I mean, one of his very first big projects was Hercules.
Wow.
In this intro, it said that he actually went to funeral homes and dissected and studied cadavers so that he could learn how the body functioned so that he could do that
Mhm.
better. So it really made me think when I was rereading that book, it was a perfect topic because
Yeah.
we need to master our craft, especially of the first meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. And being an expert in your field for sure.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, let's just start with why. Sandy, you've been in the industry long enough to see the difference between a meeting that's purely transactional and one that truly builds connection. So, what have you noticed?
Well, first impressions are everything.
Mhm.
And I even when you said the comment about transactional, I remember Rami Tamis with MDM, he has said, "I'm not transactional, I'm transformational." Oh, that's
Ooh,
good,
that
that's
one's
good.
moving.
Yeah. So, anyway, people come in and they're a little guarded, right? They don't know if they can trust you or not, and they're wondering, are you here to sell me something or are you really here to help
Mhm.
me? So you've got to master that rapport and you've got to kind of flip that internal dialogue with them and create a safe place where they feel comfortable, they
Mhm.
feel heard, they feel understood, respected, because I mean, it's all about them and you're opening that door for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially for women advisors, there's an added strength here. I mean, we often naturally lead with empathy and listening to one
Yes.
another.
Yes.
But without a process, that empathy can just get scattered. So we need to channel it in a way that uncovers the client's true needs.
Oh, exactly, and rapport isn't just being nice, you
Mhm.
know? I mean, it's intentional. It's a very intentional kind of connection, and, I mean, when it's paired with the right process,
Mhm.
right? And that you build that trust really fast, it ends up being the currency of your business,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's that trust amongst the two of you, for sure.
without a doubt. Yeah.
So, I mean, that kind of leads me to the next point here is so let's talk about process because some advisors think that rapport is purely about just chemistry, But what if you rely only on chemistry? You risk missing the important details.
Boy, that's so well said. No kidding, Jaclyn. Um, the process is what helps keep you consistent, and not only that, I mean, you've got to have that process mastered, even down to the point where you really should script it.
Mhm.
Okay, and you really should learn that script. I know that seems silly, but if you know your material really well and you
Mhm.
script, especially this first meeting, and you practice, 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 master that script, you're gonna come off smooth, not
Mhm.
robotic,
Mhm.
because you're gonna know your material, you're gonna know what you need, you're gonna know exactly the kinds of questions, that you need to ask, and you need to help them tell their story,
Mhm.
right? In
Yeah.
that process. And you also want to explore their goals and their concerns, their dreams, and oh my gosh, here's a big thought. Huh, I did this one time with a role play, person
Yeah.
who we were kinda going through the script
Mhm.
and practicing, and he said, "Wait a minute, stop right there. We've been talking for 12 minutes. Do you know how long you talked of that?" And I looked at him and I said, "No," and he goes, "8 minutes." Oh,
Wow.
ouch. It's supposed to be reverse of that, right?
Yes.
I'm not
Yes.
supposed to be talking, the clients are. We're supposed to be refraining from talking and
Mhm.
trying to talk about all the latest and greatest cool things that we know and really dive in and hear from them.
Mhm. Yeah, and I mean, even just talking about this kind of just reminds me of going back to grade school when you had to memorize a speech, to present in front of the class, and
Good,
that's kind of
good.
what it is, right? You're memorizing it, but you're adding emotion and empathy, and you're also adding those listening skills in there too, to listen to the feedback, listen to what they're telling you. And so I like that you tell them up front too. I mean, it immediately lowers their guard down because they know what exactly to expect from you.
Right.
And so as the advisor, you avoid the temptation to jump into a podcast podcast into a product or pitch too soon.
Yes, and absolutely, and if you skip the process, I mean, if you do that, you might walk out thinking, "Well, that was really great." But in their mind, they're thinking, "She really didn't understand me."
Mhm.
And to that point, another quick story. This was just last weekend. Last Saturday, I had a meeting with a lady, and she was, I mean, we really were building rapport. She was, I felt like we were really communicating well, right?
Yeah.
So we got down to the point where we were kind of slipping in those, okay, well, here's the things that I need to be able to start working on a transformational plan for you. And these are the items that I need. And I listed that I needed to have statements. I mean, very
Mhm.
practical things.
Yeah.
Risk tolerance. We had to do those things, and she wouldn't give them to me. And um, I'm telling you, to everyone, I walked away.
Yeah.
That was hard to do because we had spent an hour together and I really enjoyed her and I thought, "Oh, this is gonna be great." But if she wasn't willing to give me the information that I needed to really do
Mhm.
my job well for her, it was just gonna cause problems down the road. I mean,
Yeah.
I've done that before, tried to push those kinds of situations, and they usually kinda come back to bite you, quite frankly.
Yeah, I mean, exactly what you're saying. I mean, if you skip the process, you just might wanna walk out, You're thinking, "Oh, that went great," but in their mind, they're thinking, "She didn't really understand me," right? So you really
Right.
wanna get to the bottom of that
You
story.
you do, and you gotta find out if you're a good fit or not.
Absolutely. And so, I found that process also helps you when you're tired, distracted, or even a little nervous. Even doing this
Oh,
podcast, we talked
sure.
about a little bit
Right.
of nervousness.
Right.
And, you don't have to quote wing it, right? I mean, the framework does the heavy lifting.
Yep.
And if you have that memorized and down, it'll just come natural.
It does. It does.
So let's just move on to into the questions now. So because this is where the magic truly happens, Sandy. So you've said before that the quality of your client relationships is directly tied to the quality of your questions.
Mm, yep, I have said that a lot of times because here's the thing. Some advisors will just ask the surface questions,
Hmm.
right? When do you want to retire? What's your risk tolerance? How old are you? I mean, all of the facts, right? But they aren't really rapport builders. So instead, I ask questions that make them think like, if you woke up tomorrow with complete financial freedom, what would your day look like? Right?
Wow,
Yeah,
that's a
think
great
about that for a second.
question.
What's the single biggest worry that keeps you awake at night?
Oh, that's a tough one to
Mhm,
answer.
mhm, think through that. And what's a money decision that you've made in the past, I love this, that you're really proud of?
Oh,
So, you begin to empower them, right?
yes,
With
yes.
their, savviness, their abilities, and such,
Yeah, you're
so
making them think deeper beyond what they even just think about. I mean, those are deep questions that probably most people don't even have ever thought about.
and it's the framing of them.
Yes.
So, again, build that in, practice those things,
Yes.
so you're not just kinda going off the cuff with them.
Yeah. I mean, and especially your last one, I love that one. So it shifts the tone to something that's more positive and it gives you insight into their true values.
There you go. Good, good. You get it. You ready
I
to do this, right?
I'm working on it, right? You're prepping me for this. And so what's the trick to all of this, Sandy?
Well, I mean, and you've got to ask the follow-up questions. You've just got to. So, if they say something like, "I want to make sure my kids are taken care of." Well, don't stop there,
Yeah.
right? Dig a little bit deeper and ask, "Well, what does that look like to you? Why is that so important?" That's how you begin to build that deeper rapport.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so further on to this, I mean, this part is the huge part, right? So self-discovery changes the dynamic.
Mm.
And when clients articulate their needs and goals themselves, they're not just agreeing with your plan, but they're owning their plan.
Yes, yes.
Keywords in there.
Yes, absolutely, and if I tell them, if I just tell them, "You need a retirement plan," well, okay, that's my idea,
Uh-huh.
but if I ask the right questions and they realize, "Wow, I'm not as prepared as I thought about this," or, that it's their idea. I went to, Scott Keffer
Yes.
is a trainer that some people will go to, and I loved how he did this. He had an example of in that initial meeting of like leading the clients through to self-discovery.
Yes.
What kind of loss would concern you? 10%, 20%,
Uh-huh.
40%?
Mhm.
Where's that pain point to be able to kind of find that and isolate that, but let them discover it.
Yes.
And because you're getting a wealth of information back from them when they do that, you're finding out how much risk they're interested in
Mhm.
taking, how much growth, how nervous are they
Yeah.
of the market, and so you're getting a lot of insight when you let them self-discover,
Yeah,
you
yeah, and
know?
also having kind of a plan, as an advisor prior to walking into that meeting, like, or after they tell you more about them, you have this plan. So how do you get them to discover that plan? How do you get them to the same point that you are at, right? And
Yes.
so it's a shift from selling to serving,
There you
and
go.
it's just more effective for everybody.
Yep, yep. And, when they leave, they feel like they've been heard,
Mhm.
and I think they feel empowered. I think they feel invested in the
Yeah.
process, and that's the kind of experience that they'll talk about when they refer you to
Yeah.
their friends and family,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely, absolutely. So, I mean, Sandy, let's kind of wrap this up and with some action steps for our listeners. And you, if if a woman advisor is listening right now and wants to improve her first meetings with clients, what are the top 3 tips?
Okay. Have a process.
Okay.
All right. Stick to your process.
Yes.
That's important. Know exactly what your structure of the meeting is going to be, what you're going to put on your whiteboard. Use your whiteboard. It engages people. I mean, I hear an MDM when, because I'm kind of a student. A lot of people know that of me, that I really like the MDM process.
Yeah.
And and Rami will talk about that a lot, using the whiteboard, because it engages people more than just talking to them. But
Yeah.
know that. Have that process in mind when you start that meeting. And then also, it's important to talk about the process with the client. Let them know what you're going to be covering today.
Yeah.
And that it's a 3-pronged approach, that this is the initial meeting and here's what
Yes.
we're going to do. And and you like have that script so that you go through that. The second meeting, the third meeting, the implementation. How does that sound? Engage them and make sure that that they're tracking with you.
Yeah, and
So
people always wanna have expectations going into stuff. I mean, this stuff can be especially scary for some people too. So
yes.
when they go in having expectations, that's great.
Yep. I mean, because it allows you to be just really transparent with them,
Uh-huh.
so that they know what to ask, or or what to expect. So and make sure, like we were talking a minute ago, to tell stories, engage them with stories. Make sure you get past the surface questions,
Yeah.
and make sure you get to the heart of who they are, so that they do feel like that they've been heard. And then help them see those gaps as they do that self-discovery. Those gaps will become evident, and you'll be able to say, that's where our next meeting is going to be
Yes.
transformational,
Yes,
right?
I love that. It's a key word for sure.
For sure.
And so I just wanna add a little fun bonus here,
Okay.
but take notes. I mean, and use them. We
Yes.
just talked about Jump AI, and how important that is
Game
for
changer.
note taking.
Yep.
And it makes everything so much simpler. I don't even know if that's a word, but we're going with it.
Right. It's good.
But when you reference, their own words later, if you have a good report for them
Right.
about their own words and use them in a relationship, I mean, it truly shows that you listened and they feel
Yes.
valued.
Yes. Agreed. 100%.
So, Sandy, this has been so good. And I know our listeners are going to want to leave with ideas that they can implement in their very own prospects meetings.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg, really. It's not just a one-time thing, because as you develop that skill and you refine that over your career, it's not just in the first meeting, right? I mean, you take that first meeting, and then but that first meeting, it's the best chance for you to kind of set the tone of what
Yes.
to expect from you, right?
Yes. Yeah. And Sandy, before we go, because I have been asking other advisors this question, but if you weren't a financial advisor, what would you be doing right now?
Oh gosh, what would I be doing right now? If I weren't a financial advisor, I would be probably trying to become a master gardener and learn
Ooh.
how to, you know, um, I don't know, do a whole bunch of fun things like that. So
And what do you like to garden?
well, we moved this year, so we didn't have a garden, but
No.
but I live in Oklahoma,
Okay.
so of course we got, tomatoes and cucumbers and squash and green beans and
Yum.
corn, and I mean, just all the good wholesome things.
Have you ever heard of cowboy caviar?
I have.
That
I
reminds me of
I
you
had a
should make.
client bring me some one time,
Ooh,
yeah.
that's my guilty pleasure right there. So, Sandy, thank you so much for being here. And, for our listeners, we'd love to hear how you're building rapport in your first meetings. Share your thoughts with us on the Gradient Women in Business discussion board. And thank you for joining us today. And until next time, keep connecting, keep growing, and keep building those amazing client relationships. Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you.